Going. Okay, I guess I'm reading today. Screw it. What's up, everybody? Just212 here. Welcome to Rose-Colored Cover. So, I found this on Itch. It looked pretty cool, so I thought, why not give it a shot? It's about yanderes, and your boy does like yanderes. That's all I'm gonna say. I just like crazy yanderes. Don't judge me. Okay. Vision slowly returned to you, albeit very fuzzy at first. Your eyes took a second to adjust to the darkness all around. Lying on the concrete floor made your body ache, while the back of your head was throbbing. Where were you? Last thing you remember was seeing a bus stop in thin darkness. You weren't even going to the bus stop. You just wanted to throw away some trash in the trash bin. It was impossible to be a good Samaritan. You shouldn't have done the right thing. You should have just thrown the fast food leftovers on the ground and went home. Now, you were in what it looked like a basement with your limbs tied and your mouth taped shut. Good people really do die young. I assessed the situation, look for a bathroom. Ooh, okay, let's save. Okay. Let's panic. There was no way in hell you could stay calm at a time like this. You thrashed your body back and forth to try and sit up, but it proved to be pretty difficult with your hands behind your back. After a moment of struggle, you used all the strength in your abs to stand up properly. Once you had resigned the smallest semblance of control, you pushed your body back against the basement wall. Your breathing was ragged and quick, which wasn't helped by your taped mouth. Was this really where you died? You would be tortured and killed by a stranger who picked you up off the side of the road? Your head hurts. Your wrist and ankles felt raw from the rope, and your heart was hammering 1,000 miles a minute. What could you have done to avoid this outcome? Could you have done anything different? Gone somewhere different. Kept walking? The floorboards above you were so loud you could hear footsteps from all the way in the basement. Somebody was up there. Undoubtedly the person responsible for taking you captive. There were a few moments of alarm that were brought to the end when the footsteps got louder. Your eyes were glued to the ceiling above as they moved to the left, then forward toward the rickety old stairs. Your heart stopped at the sound of the lock clicking hit your ears, then the scraps of old metal as the doorknob turned. The blood in your veins ran cold, and you felt as though time slowed in anticipation of what was to come. Your kidnapper was coming downstairs, and you were about to see their face for the first and possibly last time. Then came the sound of shoes on top of the stairs. Every step brought your imminent fate closer and closer, staring hopelessly into the darkness as they descended. The sounds came to a halt, and then the whole room was bathed in pink. You flinched and squinted your eyes from the drastic change in lighting. You had expected to see a burly man dressed in all black, maybe even a scary mob boss who was about to ask your family for ransom money. What you had expected was for a pair of garish yellow heels to be in front of your face. Your eyes slowly trailed upwards past a pair of freshly waxed legs and a bright pink shirt. There before you was a young woman with a pink bow in her hair and style blue hair. She was looking down at you as if you were a small mouse she had found scampering around in her basement rather than a tied-up human being. As you stared at each other in silence, her expression gradually relaxed into a sickeningly sweet grin. Then, she spoke. Oh God.
Oh, you're much cuter from the front. It's a real shame you have to die.
Oh really? You can just let me go. Try to fight, cry, stare. And we're gonna save again. Save again. Try to fight, cry, stare. Let's just cry. Oh no, the reality was settling in. Tears pricked the corner of your eyes and you felt the similar burning sensation. Hot tears slid down your cheeks slightly and the girl pressed her lips.
Oh, well that's no fun.
She knelt down in front of you and reached for you, causing you to flinch back. No amount of self-preservation could avoid her in this situation though. Her right hand pressed against your temple to keep your head steady, while her left grabbed the edge of the tape. was yanked off her. It was yanked off your lips in the flesh, making your skin buzz and tingle with pain. Ow!
There we go. I hate talking to myself.
She didn't seem to care how irritated you are. Her head tilted to the side, and the feeling of dread took
It's
over.
about high time I introduced myself. Yeah? My name is Gabriella. Not that it will matter to you anyway. You won't be alive to remember it.
She then giggled and poked your
And
nose.
you have been a little thorn in my side as of late. Jake hasn't had any time for me since you entered the picture. I think that's pretty selfish of you.
Okay.
This is you finally reaping what you sow.
Oh no. I might save a lot. But you know, I don't care. I already love the way this game is starting. Screaming for help? Jake? Really? That would be me in a situation. I'm like, really? You could do better. Let me go. You're a fucking psycho. Jake? Really? Her mouth opened to refute, then clicked shut again. After a moment or two, she let out a chuckle.
Yeah, his name is very stereotypical, but a hot guy name is deserving of a hot guy. So,
Her eyes were fixed on you without any hint of looking away.
now is the time for us to chat. How's that sound?
Who chats?
I want you to understand exactly what it is that you did wrong. I'm not as selfish as you are to deprive you of that. This is a chance to confess and right those many, many wrongs. That's why I'm giving you this time before you meet whatever fate awaits you.
What the hell are you talking about? What's wrong?
Don't play dumb. Jake's taken quite a liking to you. I know you've noticed. You're trying to spur him on and earn his affection. Earn. More like steal.
The way she said it was with such clear decision. You could almost feel the venom spat from her lips. She leaned closer to your feet, then reached for something out of your view.
This is a whole song and dance he and I do. He pretends to like other people, but always comes crawling back to me.
Why could you kill them? You tried to follow her path with your eyes, leading you to a box she had shoved in one corner.
Although, it's not like I give him much of a choice.
From the depths of the box, she pulled out a pair of dull scissors. Any ordinary person would have thrown those away, but you had a suspicion she wasn't ordinary by any means.
I think he knows how jealous I get and does it on purpose. I don't mind though. I'll dispose of as many loose ends as I need to ensure our happily ever after.
You jerked your head back as the tip of the scissors were weaved dangerously close to your eyes. She merely laughed at your weirdness.
Your end is very loose indeed. I've seen your eyes on him. Those times you crossed paths at the grocery store and talked a little too long. When he offered to pay for your drink at the coffee house, I watched his eyes follow you as you walked away, off to whatever useless fucking pastime you occupy yourself with.
The scissors moved lower, their dull tip nearly at your neck.
It makes me sick. How much you affect him, and me as a result. I actually haven't used these scissors before. I want to get more creative with you.
Are you gonna cut me?
The sharp tools have done just fine before, but they take you vermin out too quickly. I want to see if I can savor this instead.
Please don't. Like, the last thing I need is for you to sit here and cut me. You inhaled shakily as the lightly predated your skin, moving down your body with every poke of the scissors. You couldn't do anything to escape it.
Maybe I can even show you a fraction of the pain you've caused me. You've caused us!
I'm sorry. The scissors moved away from you, and Gabriella set them down briefly. Her eyes were finally off you, instead of looking down at the tool with a thoughtful expression.
Maybe these won't do enough damage. I quite like the tools I used last time.
Why are you doing all this for a distractor? Explain your situation. Egg her on. I can egg her on. Okay, let's save again, shall we? Why are you doing all this for a man? Distractor? Explain your situation. Let's distract her? What tools did you use last time?
Oh, just some stuff laying around in here.
Gabriella stood from her kneeling position to look around the basement and give you a better chance to survey your surroundings.
I'd use that old shovel, shears, the knives upstairs, a mallet, even a bowling ball. That one wasn't nearly as fun though. I had to buy a new pair of flats after that girl.
You were barely listening to her and saying ramblings anymore. From this vantage point, you could see a small window that be used as an escape. Whether or not it was big enough for a person was up for a debate though. There was also the staircase where she came from, but you had no idea what was up there waiting for you. Maybe other serial killers.
That's enough chit-chat, isn't it? The fun hasn't even started yet.
Gabriella stood abruptly from the ground and spun on her heels. They clicked against the concrete as she saturated away from your floor spot. Whatever fun she was referring to was probably the opposite for you. She laced her hands behind her back and allowed her eyes to wander the room, lost in her own world.
What shall we do to start the evening? It'll have to be quick if I want plenty of time to dispose of you later, but I hate to rush things. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Actually, you can. You just gotta work for it. A rickety wooden floor cabinet ended up being her destination as she slowed her pace and stood in front of it. You could hear the drawer being pulled upon and she rifled through it, although you couldn't see anything yourself.
You know, Jake actually hates cake. I bet you didn't. You don't know anything about him, really. Not like I know him.
You watched as she threw a couple of objects out of the cabinet, a couple of pencils, some old business cards, and a few old tape dispensers. None of them end up hitting you, as they just bounced away in different directions. Her rant continued without missing a beat.
He likes to have sweet potato casserole for his birthday instead of cake. Isn't that strange?
Yes.
I make one for him just the way he likes, but he still wants some nobody like you.
Well, because when I get jealous, I don't kidnap people. At least not on camera.
I bet you can't even bake a sweet potato casserole.
Okay, well, first off, I don't even like sweet potatoes, alright? They're gross.
He wouldn't be happy with you. You could never put in the amount of effort I have.
You know what? You can have him, alright? It's fine, alright? I can find somebody else, I guess. She turned around again, leaning against the cabinet casually with a small box in her hands. She slid it open, pulling out a single match and twisted it between her fingers.
How about fire? Are you afraid of fire?
Depends on where you're gonna put it. Well, hopefully not the eyes.
I could bake you into a nice little casserole and he'd be none the wiser. Would he?
Yeah, but wouldn't you be jealous that I'm inside him and you're not? The match was quickly lit as she scrapped it against the box and brought a small flame to life. Wait, you can't! You exclaimed in a panic when the match was flung towards you. Your whole body seemed to recoil, and you squeezed your eyes shut on instinct. There was no burning feeling. Picking your eyes open again revealed that the match landed a few feet from you. It sparkled on the ground before going out with a puff of thin smoke. She was laughing at you. This girl was a real sadistic freak.
Wow, you're a real piece of work. I was joking. I would never do that to my dear Jake. I bet you taste disgusting anyway.
Hey! I do not! Anyway, sorry, I got too lost in the sauce. Her shadow came closer until she was in front of you once again.
No. I prefer something a bit more direct.
Then, a second match was lit, the light brightening her features. The flame came closer to your eyes, so you shifted as far back as you could. However, there wasn't much space to escape her whims.
I like forwardness. It's what drew me into Jake.
Suddenly, she pressed the match hard into your upper arm. It seared into your skin. You let out a shriek. Her unexpected attack wasn't without her adding a little verbal salt to the wound.
Don't look so surprised.
The used match dropped from her fingers and onto the basement floor. Gravely prompted to lit another, this time using it against you much quicker. This one was pressed down on your calf. You hissed at the sensation and kicked your legs as much as you possibly tried, getting it away from you. As the pain subsided, you took a second to catch your breath. What is wrong with you? Her brown eyes were filled with indifference as she stared down at you and hummed.
Have I told you how Jake and I met?
Your words were completely ignored.
It was back in high school. I guess you could say we were high school sweethearts.
She lit another match, but didn't use it immediately. She just stared into the glowing flame. You were too scared to utter a word while she was distracted.
I was already living alone by the time I was 15. Classes were never fun, so I skipped school a lot. Every day was so empty.
She giggled and blush appeared on her face.
That is, until I met Jake. He was known as a player back then, so he skipped classes like the cool kid he was. He was in the park where I wanted to take pictures.
Okay.
I got a picture of him in the best light.
That
Made him glow.
Okay, just make sure I can see it again. Okay. Why is that there? Okay, hopefully that. Oh. There we go. Oh.
I knew right then and there that it was love. Love at first sight finally felt real.
Okay. You'd almost be fooled to see nothing but a lovesick woman in front of you. The past few hours made that view of her impossible, though.
We've been together for so many years now. He tried to break up with me a few times, but I knew he was just in a bad place. A few times I've caught him trying to cheat, too. He's a big old tease with how much he flirts around. It's okay, though. I deal with it.
As if to prove her point, the match came closer to you. You flinched away faster this time, so the tip missed your shoulder. Luckily, she didn't try again and simply pulled away.
Every time. Jake learned his lesson and stopped for a while. Until you entered the picture, that is, luring him back into his old habits. Your bad influence on him.
Her mouth opened and she pressed the match to her tongue. You winced at the sound it made with the flame extinguished, but she didn't bat an eye. With the flame out, she threw the matchbox itself at you, bumping against your forehead. It didn't hurt, but it was enough to damage your ego. Oh! She stood up again and kicked the discarded box far away from the box on both of you.
Matches are too small.
What are you gonna use now? You breathed a sigh of relief when she walked away again, returning to the cabinet to continue her search. Her back was to you, and she was muttering quietly to herself. Okay, so this is kind of in the way for some reason. And now I can't see because that is in the way. Well, give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to get that away. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I edited this properly, but basically I had to sit here and end the recording because of a weird glitch that was happening, and it's just computer problems. I hate it. Anyway, so we're back. Case, I guess, I don't know. It's been 1 second for you guys. I'm pretty sure you already know what's happening. Anyway, back to what I was doing. Okay, did we already save? Yes, we did. Okay. Sit silently, ask Gabriella about herself, scoot towards the stairs, try to untie your hands. I have a feeling that we're not going to be able to untie our hands. Let's try it. With your eyes off you temporarily, you took chance life provided. Who knew how long she would be turned around, but you hoped it would be long enough to work at the knot tying your wrist. Your eyes were fixed on Gabriella for an indication that she would move, while your hands being twisted to get a grip of the rope. Fraction against your skin irritated your wrist, but you couldn't let that sway you. Without a good view of the knot, it was tricky to even conceptualize of a way to free yourself. Slipping your hands through the rope ended up being a better solution. You grit your teeth to keep quiet as you pulled your hands away from each other, over and over again. It was just starting to loosen when you heard Gabriella click her teeth. She turned and began to walk towards you, effectively freezing you in place. If she had been talking to you, you had no idea.
I wish Jake would stop fighting fate.
In hand was an old kitchen knife. It was covered in rust and had most likely been put down here years ago. Great, you didn't even get to die from a clean knife.
I try to move us forward, but he always brings us back 3 steps. I thought he'd leave his playboy persona behind, but sometimes change is hard. I need to help facilitate that change myself. You understand, right?
You couldn't understand it in the slightest. As if you wanted to understand her point of view after getting kidnapped and tortured.
Know that none of this is about you. It never was. Don't take it too personally.
Don't take getting murdered too personally. Yeah, okay.
Funny.
The knife in her hand was more than enough to quiet your attempt at humor. She ran the blade along her palm to test its sharpness, but drew no blood. Was that good or bad for you?
I should stick to what I know works for you. Nothing too fantastical or showy. A knife does its job, plain and simple. The clean knives upstairs have their uses, but I'd prefer to cook with them over this one. It won't be without any flair, though. Maybe the age of it will make this all more thrilling, like a fine wine.
Breathing shortened when the cold metal touched your throat. It hadn't plunged into your skin yet, but it was only a matter of time. Gabriella seemed to enjoy the teasing, though. You might have a few minutes left to forge a path to survival.
This was inevitable. All humans die someday. Your day just so happened to be sooner than others.
The blade slid across your skin slightly. The tip of the knife made its way down your neck, then to your collarbone, then to your sternum. You tried not to move to avoid getting cut if you made her lose control. She'd end your life in a heartbeat.
Jake certainly won't miss you. I can assure you of that. So, any last words?
She twirled the knife around absent-mindedly, allowing one last opportunity to speak. God damn it. Oh gosh, something tells me, depending on what I choose, this is gonna end badly for me. Please don't do this. Is it worth it? Is he worth it? Try the knot again? Ooh. Let's try the knot again. You already did some work to loosen the rope around your wrist. Now it was a matter of getting them fully off. You wiggled your hands against each other, using the sweat on your skin to your advantage. Crying so a few more seconds would be vital. Of course I have some last words.
Spit it out.
She was still toying with the knife, but her swing could slice you in any moment. This would have to be flawless. You pried your fingers from the wrist wrap of the rope, speaking just loud enough to keep her attention on your face. It's just that you deliberately looked towards the stairs with a wide-eyed look of surprise. Only if you were an actor, because an audience would be convinced someone just entered into the basement. Gabriella took the bell as her heart seemed to drop and her head whipped around. Now was your chance. In an instant, you slid your hands from the rope and grabbed Gabriella's wrist lightly. This snapped her back to reality, and murderous glint appeared in her eyes.
How did you?
God damn it, will you go away? Shit! I'm recording. Anyway, how did... Oh, okay, she already said it. You couldn't think about the pain of your wrist being ripped raw. Not if you wanted to get out of this alive. Using all your strength, you twisted the knife away from you, and used your free hand to punch Gabriella square in the throat. Take that, sucker! She let out a grunt of pain as she fell backwards onto the ground. Dropping the knife, your breath was heavy, and you were hyper aware of your thundering heartbeat. This was it. While she was grasping in the air, you had to act. Look for escape. Defend yourself. Oh shoot, okay. Let's look for an escape. Let's just get out of here. Fuck that, no, let's leave. Although your ankles were tied together, you could still hobble your way to the exit if you moved fast enough. Sort of crawling on all fours ended up being the most plausible option available. It was a weird hop using your back legs while your arms provided the needed stability. You had to sidestep your assailant before looking for a solid way out of here. There wasn't much time until she acted though, so you needed to be quick. Out of the window, up the stairs. Oh, shoot. Oh, save now. Okay, now let's go. Okay, let's go through the window. To the window we go. You had to take a risk at a tiny window. If it opened enough for a person to fit through, it would be easily the fastest way out of here. Slowly but gradually, you crawled your way over to the window. Staring up at it made this task seem much more intimidating. Not only did you have to crawl out of the high window, but you had to do it with your legs tied. A small box was shoved against the wall in front of it. Maybe you could use that as a step stool? The execution could have been smoother, but you pulled the box closer to your goal. It made your destination easier to reach. Your arms helped immensely as you climbed to the top of the box. You feel like clawing your way out to victory. You popped the latch open that held the window shut and used all your remaining strength to lift. The window was janky as it slid open, mostly from years without use. It had lifted about halfway when you heard a creak. Turning your head quickly, you were met with Gabriella a few steps away. In her hand was a rusty knife, and it was gripped so tightly that you could see her veins.
You're a fighter. I'll give you that much.
It was said with such conviction that you knew you were in danger. She moved closer, and you had no choice but to enter panic mode. Your hands gripped onto the window for dear life, and you began to kick. Your first kick knocked her back by her shoulder, which was a small relief. Using both legs meant you took longer to charge up the next kick throw, so she slashed at you at the same time your legs lifted. The blade sliced your calf, making you hiss in pain. However, it was also hit the rope, that loosened the knot enough for your legs to move somewhat independently. Things are finally turning around. You aimed your next blow at her face and hoped it would stun her long enough for you to make a break for it. Take that, sucker! She stumbled backwards and clutched her nose as she began to bleed. You bleed black. You're a demon! The blood looked weird, though. It had almost intercinic quality. You had no time to stare, though, instead yanking the window open with all your might. Fresh air blew into the room like a lifeline. Wasting no time hosting yourself under the windshield.
Fuck!
Gabriella made a lunge for you, but you were too high up for it to make a difference. You swung your legs out of reach and slipped through the window, crawling across the grass towards freedom. You were free. It was a painful journey as blood dripped behind you, but you had done it. Once you could find a phone to borrow, the police would surely come after her, and hopefully send you to the hospital. Even with a few scratches, you had successfully escaped. Ending 3 of 4, cheated fate. Oh, let's go! We did it. Huh. You know the worst part about this, though? We're gonna have to either A, make this the most shortest video I've ever made, or B, keep it going, because, I don't know, this is literally 2 videos. I literally had to record 2 videos at the same time because of a strange glitch going on with my computer. Computer problems, I know. But let's actually go ahead and, since we just saved, and yeah, we even got our, yeah. Thanks for playing. You're welcome. I liked the game. I liked it. Okay, let's do it again now, shall we? I think I gotta use my, mouse, no problem. Okay, let's, I want to go back to the previous ending and just overall see what happens if I go down the stairs. So, let's go. Up the stairs! Climbing a set of stairs might be difficult with your legs out of commission, but you needed to try. Slowly but gradually, you made your way over to the staircase. It is the most likely led up to the main house, which you hoped was empty at this time. Please tell me she does not have a fucking family up there. When she made it to the bottom step, you could see up to a closed door. There was no way she locked it, and trapped herself down here too. Your arms helped immensely as you rose higher and higher. It felt like clawing your way to victory. A few steps away, and you heard a creak. Turning your head slowly, you were met with Gabriella at the bottom of the staircase. Her brown eyes were a shade darker than normal. In her hand was a rusty knife, and it was gripped so tightly that you could see her veins.
You're a fighter. I'll give you that much.
It was said with condescension that you knew you were in danger. Spinning back around quickly, you reached for the handle in desperate last attempt. I don't know. Guys, I'm trying. You twisted as hard as you could, but it didn't open. The psycho had actually locked the door.
No key.
Fuck. Her voice was right beside your ear. Any scream you were about to let out was cut off as you felt a searing pain in your neck, on your back. You slumped over as the pain returned on repeat. The sounds of stabbing echoed in the stairwell. Pain was the last thing you remembered before it was slowly faded too. Nothing. Ending 1 of 4. Game over. Oh, we just die? Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh jeez. Oh, she wasted no time either. She was serious. So I wonder if there's a way for her to make her fall for us, I wonder. I think there is. Maybe. Alright, well, I guess while we have time, let's go ahead and do it. Screw it, let's do it, baby! Okay, let's, what was this one again? Loading will lose unsafe. Oh, I'm stupid. Hold on. My bad, hold on. Explain. There we go. Now we can go. Look for escape, defend yourself. Let's defend ourselves, baby! Yeah, we're a fighter! There was no time to think. Flipping yourself onto your stomach, you reached for a knife Gabriella had dropped. Your hand slammed down onto the handle and you wrapped your fingers around it like your life depended on it. In this case, it did. Just as you heard Gabriella begin to regain control of her body, you jumped across the floor toward her. You couldn't allow yourself to give her any leeway into this fight. You pinned her down with your body weight, but her own strength made it difficult to gain control. Her nails clawed at you and she grit her teeth, trying to keep the knife away from her.
Damn it! I knew I was taking it too. Easy on you. I should have sawed off your limbs.
Every moment of hers tried to flip you over, or just get you off, but you wouldn't budge. This had to end her, or she'd end you. Go over the fate. Oh, okay, wait. Oh, shit. Wait, oh. I literally... Her hands shot out suddenly and grabbed the back of your neck. Ooh, I actually wanted to see what happens if you pick nothing. A split second later, her forehead crashed into yours, effectively distorting you. Within that window of time, she pried the knife from your fingers and pushed you back. You let out a gasp of your back, you let out a gasp as your back hit concrete once again. The tables had turned as Gabriella had the advantage once again. You were outmatched. You had no time to react before the knife came towards your throat. The last thing you heard was her maniacal laughter before. Nothing. Ending 1 of 4. Game over. Okay. It didn't let me before. Oh, wait. Well, this is the same ending, so we're good. Save, defend yourself. Let's do this again. I'm gonna keep my stuff right here. Okay.
God damn it! Easy on you. I should have sawed off your limbs.
No. Yes, that's something actually. Okay. Save this time. Hell yeah. Okay. Go for the throat. You jerked your arms side to side, trying to get her grip to loosen enough to attack. Every muscle in your body ached, but you had to ignore it. Giving in to that weakness would mean giving up. You had to hold on. Your grip on the knife adjusted and you pushed down as hard as you could. She was resisting just as much as you were fighting, but you had the upper hand in this position. You were shaking as the knife plunged lower. You slashed a huge gash across her face. Okay, apologies for that. Anyway, it had slid across her forehead and down to her jaw. You had to avoid gagging as reality set in. Then came the blood. It spilled from her open wound and onto the floor. It wasn't right. She tried to kill me. There were parts of her blood that were blackish instead of red. It had almost intermittent quality, and the smell was not natural. Is she an alien? You being appalled and disgusted served as the perfect distraction. She used that chance to pry the knife from your fingers and pushed you back. Oh my gosh, no. You had no time to react. Oh no. Damn. Wait, so is she an alien though? Okay, let's try that again, shall we? We went for the face, now we're going for the heart. You lifted onto your knees, trying to use your full weight to overpower her. Every muscle in your body ached, but you had to ignore it. Giving into that weakness would mean giving up. You had to hold on. You yelled to release some tension building up before pushing down as hard as you could. She was resisting just as much as you were fighting, but you had to upper hand its position. Knife plunged lower and your body tilted along with it. The world slowed as you met her gaze. You can only imagine that your own expression mirrored the terror in hers. The blade was embedded deep in her chest, and she had completely frozen. Then came the blood. It trickled from her open wound and stained her clothing. It didn't look right. It was blackish color with the hints of red. It had almost an intricate quality, and smell was not natural. Not even more of a thick, viscous liquid spilled out. The pure agony was clear on her face. Gabriella was gasping for air and clutching at nothing but concrete floor. You couldn't show any mercy, though. The blade came down again and again. It was an awful feeling as the blade sank through her skin. You steeled yourself to remain focused. Any sign of stopping would put your survival in jeopardy. She lay beneath you weakly, barely able to keep her eyes open. When you were certain she wouldn't be able to attack, you leaned back on your heels. What the? She's a rope? The sight before you was vile. Her chest was open enough to reveal something non-human. It wasn't human organs, but various wires and blinking lights within. Did someone program her to fall in love or something? The blood had cut various tubes that were spilling some kind of oil. Despite that, you could swear there was still blood coming from her. What the fuck are you? She choked on her own breath as tears fell from her eyes. Panic on her face was heartbroken. She had lost.
I had to be with him. I couldn't. I was weak.
As you observed her, something shiny caught your attention. A key had fallen from her shirt in the midst of your attack. You bent down to grab it, ignoring the blood. As you did, her body jerked and she let out a pinned wheeze. The robotic heart in her chest was blinking red. You couldn't bear to watch.
No! This can't be it.
You screamed out again. You scrambled backwards to get away from her, but tripped over your own feet. Alright, the rope. You swiftly cut yourself out and dropped the weapon. You had to get out of here. Not bothering to look back as your kidnapper bled out, you ran to the staircase. Knocking on the door proved to be pointless. She had locked it. Shit! Wait, the key! You made quick work of shoving it into the keyhole. Then it turned, the door swung open. Is there going to be copies of her or something? And you didn't stop running. And 204, broken heart. Oh, that's sick. So she's a robot. Okay. That makes more sense. Okay, unfortunately we are out of time for this, guys, but if you guys want to see any more of this game, be sure to comment, and subscribe, of course. If you guys have any other games you want me to play, be sure to comment them down below. And just like that, I'll see you guys next time.